Hey, Candor. Aloha. Welcome to the stream. Hey, guys. Thanks for being here. Let's see, that's muted. I think we're all set. Hey, Jills. Thanks for the sunshine. Let me see if I can get a link here. Warlock, Erie, thanks for being here. I do not know how to find a link to the YouTube link, so man, if one of you guys could post this link to YouTube and Twitter and tag me, that would be freaking awesome. Also, if someone could tell me that you can hear me, that'd be super too. This is my second day of using OBS. I won't be asking you in the future. This is just me learning how to do this. Hi, Warlock. So if we can get a thumbs up, I bet you can hear me. Actually, you guys would already be typing, I can't hear you. And so I think we're all set. The topic for today is ayahuasca and psychedelics. That's right, we're going to talk about that. I just had a call with someone where we discussed this, and someone's been asking me to do this for a while. And yep, DMT too. And I think it's a good time that, hi LaFlo, I think it's a good time that we do exactly that. Hey Cole, we're going to talk about this stuff. We got a few things to cover, but we'll just pretend like that's the main topic. I like how I have no idea what I'm going to say. So this is the topic, but who knows where we're going to go with this. All right. If you guys want to tell me in chat if anyone's done any kind of psychedelics, I'm talking DMT, ayahuasca, mushrooms, any of that stuff, even LSD. If you want to say so in the chat, that's fine. This is not a confession, nor is this a non-confession. But I wanted to discuss those things. What exactly is happening, and what's that all about? So anyway, thank you, Candor. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going to go over here because I really like it when I can tell my awesome Patreon people that when I go live, they deserve to know that. I don't see that yet. There we are. There we are. Thank you, Erie Fairy and Candor. Thank you, guys. You guys are rock. Thank you so much. This makes it so much easier. Now I can just hit this link. We're about to start. And happy apocalypse, everybody. Best apocalypse ever. More data is coming at us from all directions, just as it should be. If you guys aren't clear, I'm not speaking in sarcasm. I don't do sarcasm. I slip into sarcasm. But when things are serious, I believe that I should not post any dissonance across my vocal cords, which would be sarcasm, to think one thing and not another. And so when I say happy apocalypse, I really mean happy apocalypse. The apocalypse is an uncovering. If you guys haven't heard my stream before, it's an uncovering. It's a revealing. In fact, I think it's really cool to look at it kind of like a zipper. I say zipper because the apocalypse is almost all the way unzipped, and that fine cleavage of the universe is just right there. Just the big melon universe just going, unzip me, baby. Show me what you got. And that's what's happening around us right now. The reason why you are perceiving things that you were not able to perceive before, it's really great you guys are here. Thanks for being here. The reason why is because the cleavage is almost out. The melons are out of the barn. They're teaming out there. They're like, I am truth melons. And the melons are firm and they're full of milk. The milk and honey of truth is inside these melons. In fact, I met a lady in Houston once, and we were selling Christmas trees on a tree lot. And I swear, after work one night, she goes, "Oh, I need to be milked." And it just always strikes me as hilarious that someone would do that. There's such a beautiful honesty to that. Man, I love life. I love how we have things like melons and we can talk about it, and then I could feel sort of sensitive, like I'm talking about melons. Is that okay? it's just a wonderful, wonderful life. And that's what's happening all around us right now, is this wonderful, wonderful life. I've made a lot of you moderators, and my main goal for that is so you can approve comments. I see that some of you time people out, and I'm all for you utilizing your ability and authority as a moderator to do what you see as best. So this is not me saying don't do it. I just want you to know that if someone wants to call me a bald fuck, or if someone wants to insult me because I have a microwave, which is a fascinating thing that people are like, you have a microwave. I say let them. I think it's freaking hilarious. One thing I've tried to tell you guys over and over again is that bad prana is good prana. These are both the exact same energy and polarity. In fact, to start that off as an example, I'd like to talk about the ISS. I'm talking about the pretend ISS, the thing that's pretending to be something that's 250 miles orbiting above us in a planet. What's really happening here, I did not comb my hair, Hugh. This was an accident. See, I'm losing so much hair that sometimes it just looks like I combed it. It's purely just a freak of how I lay my pillow on the head. The ISS, the International Space Station, biggest lie around. It's so big that they fly it overhead. There is actually a jet or a balloon or some kind of plane that actually looks like the ISS, and believe it or not, they shoot across the sky in the same vector. It's really brilliant, brilliantly stupid. They want you to know they're lying. You guys do understand that, right? The job of NASA is not to fool you. The job of NASA is to lie to you and hope you see it. It's so weird. It's the bizarrest shit you've ever heard. You're like, what? Their job is to lie to you, suck $56 million out of your pocket every day, and wait for you to see it. And the more you don't see it, the more obvious they get. The more they put it right in your face. They want you to stop trusting them. Yes. Masons want you to catch them and stop trusting them. And what are you doing? Not that, are we? Instead, we're like, Trump said he's going to put women on the moon, chicks on the moon. And he promised a few weeks after he left office that chicks would be on the moon. He's going to up the ante. He's going to, remember when they said it rains diamonds on Neptune? Yeah, they said that. Remember when they said Uranus smells like farts? Remember that? Remember when they showed you a photo of Pluto and it literally had a silhouette of the dog in it? Guys, this is the running out of ways of making this more obvious. And I know that most of you guys here already get this, but yeah, exactly. You get the fuck out. He's got a microwave. Run! It actually doesn't even work. I actually have two microwaves. This is the one. See, the moment you install an appliance in your house, like you install it, it stops working. And that's what happened here. So this isn't even a functional thing. In fact, I can't even open the door. It's duct tape closed right there, you'll see. And that duct tape is because otherwise it just stays open all the time. And I can't make it shut again. It's very annoying. But I do have a microwave. So, good prana, bad prana, both the same thing. Lying to you, important part of you waking up. If you believe the government, you would never leave the nest and learn how to fly. How do you fly? This guy right here. This guy inside of here is how you fly. And no, yours is not blocked by fluoride. Nope. It's not. You're actually already using your third eye. The myth they told you was that your third eye is closed. That's how do you close someone's third eye? You tell them it's closed. That's all it takes. That's all it takes is to say your third eye's closed. And then you're like, oh, fuck, you're right. What do I do? You have to go to an anti-fluoride camp. It's a 7-year program. It's going to cost you $68,000. No, it's already open. How do you know? Because you're seeing the world. We think it's eyes, but let's review, okay? Let's review. The first shutter is your eyelids. I can adjust the amount of physical light that comes in and out of, oh, it's real bright, no, it's real dark. It's real bright, it's real dark. That's the first level of aperture. It's your actual eyelids themselves. Reptilian, Open, close, open, close, open, close. The second level is pupil dilation. I can shine a light in my eyes, and my pupils will dilate. It probably didn't work. I almost burned my eyebrows off. Dilation, that's the second. There's a third aperture, my brothers. There's a third one. Learning to fly, thanks for the $2. How do I fly? I'm getting ready to tell you. The third aperture. It's your third eye. Ajna. The all-seeing eye. There is nothing esoteric about this. If one of you guys calls me a New Ager, I'm going to send the wrenches after you, and they're going to insult you in ways you never thought were possible for. They're going to make it expensive for them. Isn't it funny how Joe Rogan told everybody to smoke DMT? Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how the same asswipe, I'm getting ready to call someone an asswipe that a lot of you guys like. The taint asswipe that I'm pointing to right now. I can't even remember his name. He's such an asswipe. He's always telling you asteroids are coming to Earth. Graham Hancock. I'm sorry. I know you guys like him, and that's cool. I don't even mind you still liking him. But both these guys want you doing psychedelics. The same CIA program is still alive today that's always been there. Now, let's review. Psychedelics themselves are not bad. But your understanding of what a psychedelic is, that's bad. Thank you, Eerie Fairy. My third eye told me to... There you go. There's a kiss for you right there. If that was forward, I'm sorry. It didn't ask if I could do that. Man, how dare I? How dare I do that? These guys, they want your egoic field low. All right? Let me start over. There's nothing wrong with psychedelics. There's nothing wrong with DMT. There's nothing wrong with ayahuasca. But I want you to understand what's truly it is. What they really are is a psychic death. When you do these things, you psychically die. Inside your brain, in the very center, in fact, it's the very center for a reason. If you were to create a tank, okay, the very center of a tank is the safest spot. It will take the most damage. You're not as safe on the outer edge of the tank. You're safest in the middle. On a ship, the safest place is in the inner compartment because you have all these outer compartments that are shielded from you. If a torpedo strikes, it has to go through at least 3 bulkheads before it gets to you. It's a safety. The important stuff is in the middle. Where's the captain's quarters? It's in the center. Anything vital to you is going to be in the center of something, okay? Your heart, it's in the center of your chest. My shirt is dirty. Just want to point that out because I would like to not feel unconfident that I'm wearing a dirty shirt, but I'm noticing that. Your heart is in your center. Your pineal's in the center. It's awaiting protection. Here's where the drugs come in. You are living your life with a suicide button. You're walking down the mall holding a suicide button. The mall is the world. You're holding it all the time. And the moment you die, how's a suicide button work? The moment you die, your thumb lets go and you go up. That's metatonin. Not melatonin, metatonin. There's a website. I should have had this ready. I think it's easy though. Metatonin research. I'm going to paste this in the chat. If I can do that. I've never pasted something in the chat here. Let me see if I can do this. This should work. There's a website, metatoninresearch.org. Don't read it while I'm talking to you. I need your prana. I need you to stay in the pocket here with me. But metatonin, it's generated from the center of your head. Let me get back because I'm watching myself in the past, which is weird. Metatonin. Fire switch. All right? Here's what's happening. Your pineal is generating metatonin. Let's just call that DMT for now. Let's just call it that because we want to save a lot of bullshit. All right? We just want to make this as easy as possible, okay? Your pineal is constantly emitting metatonin, DMT. It's constantly putting it out. It's constantly holding this lever. When you die, the lever comes off. The lever itself is called DMT inhibitors, and your body's making them all the time. Your body's constantly telling the pineal gland, hey, I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. Dude, don't you take that thumb off. I'm not dead. 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 You just wake up. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. You go to the bathroom. Oh, I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. The I'm not dead is DMT inhibitors. They're running through your system, coursing through the system, convincing yourself, dude, I'm not dead. I'm not, do not let go of that switch. I'm not dead. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. What happens when you do ayahuasca? What happens when you do DMT? What happens when you do mushrooms? You are stopping the DMT inhibitors, which means the DMT that's always trying to be generated, that's always trying to pour itself out into your stream, is suddenly stopped. Okay? When it stops, what you're really doing is you're installing epiphany. You're running a program inside your soul called epiphany. And if you've ever had a near-death experience from a drowning or a sudden car wreck or some this or from that, you're going to have an epiphany moment. Something just happened to my screen. What is that all about? That's weird. I am no longer, sorry guys, I'm no longer seeing myself anymore. Which is fine, but now I'm seeing myself in the past. Okay, no. I don't want to exit the stream. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I'm blowing this up. Oh, full screen. Where did I go? Why am I gone? Where did I go? I know I'm here, but man. Okay, I'm going to have to try and do the stream where I can't. I really want to watch the chat, but I can't. I can't look at myself in the back. Forgive me, guys. Hi, Wiley. I'm going to try it this way. Raise my volume. Oh, no. So not only that, but now you're telling me you can't hear me. Yikes. That's raising the volume is going to be really hard. I don't know a way to do that because the volume is all the way up. See, look. And now going all the way up again. And that's all the way up. Sorry, guys. Everyone else hear me okay? Yes, MAO inhibitors. Now, oh, I can see myself again. That's great. When you experience a psychic death, you're no longer inhibiting your DMT. And that DMT is running through your system. It's telling you you're dead. That's what's happening. When you have ayahuasca, you will vomit because your belly is dead. You have an entity here in your belly, your intestine. That's a living entity. And you've killed it. You've given it a psychic electrical death. These deaths that you have, because you have three, you could die three ways. These deaths that you have release epiphany. And when you release that epiphany, you have realizations about the world. You start to see through the veil. You're not hallucinating. You're perceiving the world as if you had died. But what you're truly perceiving is really basically a compression routine that's running. I'm using compression loosely, but I want you to imagine when you buy a new laptop, that you are taking all the files from your old laptop and you're bundling together into a giant zip file, and then that zip file is going to be moved onto your new laptop. That's epiphany. And the reason why you're having all these flashes of realizations popping up over and over and over and over and over again is because the epiphany is running through your system. It's liquefying all of your memories, but your adrenal memories, okay? We have memories like sense, taste, smell, but really it all boils down to just adrenals. What was the adrenal chemistry that caused this sight, this sound, this hearing, this feeling, this, that? All of those things are sort of compressed into an adrenal matrix. Almost like a yoga pose, if you think about it. A yoga pose for the adrenals, where it's like that day where I got laid on prom night, I was like, that was my adrenal pose. the day that I had my first child, it was, that was my adrenal pose. And this pose in your adrenals can be decompressed through your memory, and it can realize how I want to remember what it was like when I had my son. I know that I smelled this, I tasted this, I did that. What you're doing is you're decompressing that adrenal file, that one adrenal file. Now, when you have epiphany, you're doing the opposite. You're turning all of your life experience. That's why you'll see your life flash before your eyes. What's happening is you're adrenally compressing yourself, ready for upload, because it thinks you're dying. Your life is oh my goodness, we got our first hummingbird, and I have not cleaned out the feeder. I'm sorry, guy. If I came out there now, you'd just fly away. I'm going to hook you up. I promise you. I am going to hook you up. All right. You're going to have to hurry. There's hummingbirds waiting. He's over in the trees. Oh, look at that beautiful red. He's got a red belly, too. I should have shown you guys that. That would have been nice of me. When the wind is back open, I can show you the hummingbird feeder there. He's gone now. He'll come back. I'll promise you. I gotta get that thing down and clean it. The epiphany is decompressing inside you. It's running the routine so it can upload. When you have an ayahuasca ceremony, you're dying. I know I've already said that. But in that death, the epiphany that you have allows you to reset yourself. It allows you to, because you've died, you have to start over. Most of you, when you have an ayahuasca experience, your gut's gone. You may even be sick from it. The reason why you're sick from it is because you killed your gut. Your gut is angry. Your gut doesn't know, why the fuck did you do that, dude? I didn't understand that. It has to rebuild now. Your gut is an electrical field. It's the reason why your intestines go all over the place is because it's a capacitor. If you look at an electrical capacitor, it's the same thing. It's tape wrapped around itself with an insulator in the middle. That's what your intestines are. It's an electrical capacitor. But when you have an ayahuasca death, you're dumping your core. You're dumping the whole thing at once. When you have that, you're able to start over. You're able to reset your adrenals. You're able to evacuate demons. You're able to do a lot of things to your system during that reset. That's why I'm not saying it's intrinsically bad. However, fucking Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock are telling you the secrets are in the plant. The plant is there to guide you. And what that does is it pulls you, your assemblage point, outside of your body and places it in the plant that's looking back at you now. It has pulled you inside out. It has inversed you. It is, it's inversed you. It's pulled you out. Now you're looking at yourself from outside. This is why words like reputation are not as good as pride. Because reputation means you have to take your camera from inside yourself. It's the camera, right? From inside yourself, and you have to place it outside yourself, looking back at yourself. That's your assemblage point. Wherever you want to choose to see yourself. Oh, look how bald he is. Or, oh, look how weird he looks from the side. Whatever it is. Look how dirty his shirt is. Your assemblage point is how you approach yourself. When you're around someone that you really like, what really happening is that their electrical field is so strong that your assemblage point pops out and you look at yourself from their eyes. And you either like it or you don't. You compare yourself to that. And the moment you pull yourself out to look at yourself, that's called astral traveling. That's astral projection. You do astral projection when you're awake. Hey, Sammy, I got your email coming. Sorry it's been a while. Things have been busy as hell, but I just want to do a shout out. I have not forgotten you, my friend. You were pulled outside of your shell and you're looking back at yourself now. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but that drains power. Do you know how much plasma it takes to pull a tentacle out of your electrical field and fucking turn it around and process yourself from that position? That's a lot of current. You're drawing a lot of current out of yourself to look back at you now. This is really the heart and crux of vampirism, is learning how to pull energy and plasma from you and redirecting it back at you. Can someone tell me you can hear me okay? Because I'm actually paranoid that someone said he couldn't hear me. I feel like you can, but if you wouldn't mind, someone give me a chat saying, yeah, dude, it's cool. Don't let that bother you. I want to make sure you can hear me. I definitely don't want to ruin the stream. But let me know if that's the case. Now, that pulling of energy is a caloric burner. That burns a shitload of calories to do that. Most of us spend our entire lives doing that. It's true. Most of us get outside our body and look at ourselves 24 hours a day from behind us, from an overlord behind us situation. We become a living third person. We see the entire world through the third person perspective, and we end up draining ourselves the entire time. This is what virtue signaling is. When you see two people bootlicking each other for virtue, the reason why is because they've pulled their assemblage point so far away that they're looking at it. They're looking at it like the crowd is seeing them. And it being that far away requires a plasma antenna, right? A plasma tentacle from here all the way out to there. And that burns calories. If you don't have enough ego, if you don't have enough egoic field, if you guys are new to me, ego's a good word. I don't have time to catch up now, but anyway, ego's a good word. You're going to be burning all those calories looking at yourself from outside yourself. That's what fashion is. I harp on this all the time, that fashion is mind control. And no one really goes, right on, James. It's more of like, huh. But the reason why it's mind control is because when you are following a fashion, you literally become addicted to keeping your assemblage point outside of yourself and looking back. This is not Carlos Castaneda. I have no problem with anyone calling it Carlos Castaneda. I think he's a wonderful author. I just want you to know that this is more about projection. In fact, I'm taking a big difference because Carlos Castaneda tells you that ayahuasca, devil's weed, marijuana, cannabis, I should say. We shouldn't call her marijuana, cannabis. He gives these entities a living energy. They're allies. They're living hosts, and they are. But when you read his books, what ends up happening is that you pour your own prana into that creature, and it becomes your embodiment of what it is. You are creating it for it. You're giving itself a shell. This is actually exactly how exorcism works, by the way. Tangent alert! When someone has an exorcism, what they're literally doing is pulling a soul. They're like kneading it out like dough, and they're taking that clump of dough like a golem, and they're breathing life into it, going, "You're a demon now." And now this person has an internal hole in them the rest of their life, and they don't realize that the demon has been cast, hear the word? It's been cast out of them, which means now they're missing a plasma body, and that demon's always attracted to that plasma body. Now, back to ayahuasca. When you experience this death, your cockpit is empty. Your jet is running. It is on the landing pad. It's on the runway. The keys are in it. It's gassed up. The engines are hot. And you've climbed out of the cockpit. And you're rolling in the grass going, ayahuasca, DMT, mushrooms, whatever it is. You're over there now. Nothing wrong with that. Death is an epiphany. Sometimes we need an epiphany. When you fast, same thing. You fool your body. It's why you have to fast longer each time. You fool your body into thinking it's dying. When it shuts down, when you hear things, oh, your body's shutting down, that's what this means. You're letting go of your suicide button. Yeah, I think you guys can hear me. Thank you. Thank you, Leash. So that's what a psychedelic experience is. It's taking your finger off the button. You don't have to go to Peru. You don't have to find some Rastafarian dude with a bone in his nose to take you out in the woods and charge you $400 to sit and puke in his yard for a while. You can. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. We need excuses to be social because we're electrical creatures, and electrical creatures like to hang out with electrical creatures. There's nothing wrong with that. But I hate how so many people are convinced that they have to go find an ayahuasca retreat before they can fix themselves. And I hate even more that they'll go find that retreat, then they'll come back sick and they won't understand why. And they'll start to look outside the world at anything else as to why they're sick, but they're not realizing that they abandoned their gut. They told their gut, all you fuckers are out. And your gut complied. And I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes there's so many demons in your cockpit that you want to go Mach 2 and just fucking open the airlock. That's a tactic. There are no right and wrong ways, guys. There's nothing right or wrong about that. But this also explains why you have a bad trip. See, a bad trip is literally the electrical evacuation that happened too much. It starts to threaten the core system. The DMT is released too fast. And part of you knows that you're supposed to be okay, but you can't get your finger back on the switch. You can't get the inhibitors to come back out fast enough. And you're liquefying your salts. You're liquefying the processes that you've already learned, and they're going away. This is, again, the compression algorithm that happens. You're not going to find answers by... Okay, you are going to find answers by evacuating your bowels and having experiences like that. But you can have those same experiences without the drugs. Do you know what John the Baptist really is? Do you understand that the true idea of Jesus and John the Baptist? What is a baptism? Hey, John, what are you doing? I'm going to go for a swim in this really fast current. Oh, okay. John gets in the water. He slips. He hits his head on a rock. Something. He falls in the water. He thinks he's drowning. His body starts to drown. What does his body do? Boop. Let's go. It's like, oh shit. I got to save this data. I don't want to lose my pictures. I got to get this stuff uploaded. That's what his body's doing. It's opening that up. And John the Baptist has an epiphany underwater. He has an epiphany. And he comes out of the water, and do you know what happens? Joseph, John, actually his name's John, Samuel, Patrick, whoever, his friends go, dude, you okay? And he's like, fucking fantastic. I feel amazing. I want to have sex with something. Let's eat something. Let's embrace life like we've never embraced it before. He's got this electrical field that's just like, whoa. And everyone around him's like, wow. What happened to you? What happened to you? And John looks back and goes, I was baptized. I was reborn. Right? I was reborn. I had a rebirth. I had a ceremony with water. Beautiful, beautiful thing to have a ceremony with. And I've been reborn into this new life. That's baptism. Baptism is epiphany. And we have a short ritual for that now. It's not quite the same, is it? It's a little bit different. We're following the ritual, but we're not actually believing the ritual. It's a superficial ritual to many of us, not everyone. To many of us, it's a superficial kind of ritual. And those same people who found it superficial will grow up and still haven't had an epiphany, and they want one. And they leave the church, or they gain the church, or whatever. They end up trying psychedelics. And it works. It works. And they come back and they tell everybody, they're like, what happened to you? And they don't have the language to say, I had an epiphany. How'd you do that? Well, I died. I had a psychic death. It was pretty sweet. Psychic death? How'd you do that? Well, I did it with mushrooms. I did it with DMT. I did it with ayahuasca. I had food poisoning. I've had epiphany from food poisoning. I bet some of you guys have had too. This is an electrical trance state. It's brought about by... It's hard to use the word electrical because this is such a complicated form of electromagnetism once you're dealing with inside the body. It's so complicated that it's very elementary to even call it electric. But that's the closest chopsticks that we have to pick up that truth, It's the closest thing that we can grasp the truth of it all is through these chopsticks called electricity. We have to, Language, as a writer, trust me, I could tell you this. As a writer, language fucking sucks, man. It's like, wow, it's so limiting. In fact, most of our blindness is caused by the language because we simply don't have words for it. If anyone gives me credit, they always say James is giving us the language to talk about it. And it makes me so giddy when someone says that, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm creating new words or moving words back, dragging them across the cargo bay so you can step on them and you can get up on the dock and unload some beer into the truck, whatever this means. Epiphany. And right now, during the apocalypse, actually before I get there, this third eye is a perturbation. Perturbation is an agitation. Something is agitated not by one body, not by the gravity of one body, but by the gravity of multiple bodies. This is what's so freaking beautiful about humanity. This is my favorite part of humanity, so listen up. Your pineal gland is not vibrating. It's oscillating to the environment. It's perturbating, okay? It's not emitting an oscillation. It seems like that, but it's not. It's listening. It's such a sensitive device. Imagine if you could, you've got a silk cord, and in between is a crystal. And that silk cord is pulled so taut that the most subtle mouse whispering to his little mouse wife, "I love you," is heard in this silk, and that crystal goes. And that perturbation is human sonar. It's sonar but more complex. It's telling you what the real world is. That perturbation doesn't have the capacity to speak to you because you're kind of elementary. No offense, but you're kind of elementary. You're approaching things from a body-centric standpoint. The body is not elementary, but your reasoning, your causality, your language, that's your thoughts. These are all trapped linearly, not in a bad way, but they're in linear time. And that's the exact opposite of what this perturbation's doing. This record needle. Think about it like a record needle. The needle on the record itself doesn't jump up and down. It's the sounds from the record that cause it to go up and down, right? But this is in 3D. It's perturbation. It's perturbating what's all around it. Now, it needs some way to contextually tell you what's happening. It can't just tell you, perturbation 746-124 78 74 2 71 71 71. You're going to be like, I have no idea what the fuck's going on. I just know things are happening. Oh my God, what's happening? Oh my God, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? It needs to process. Your perturbation needs to tell you what's going on. So what does it do? It grows you eyes. It grows you ears. It grows you skin. A radio telescope made out of skin. It grows you hair some of us. It grows you hair to pick up on the electrical connections around you. It grows you smell. It grows you pheromonic attraction. That person's attractive. Or, oh, that person's hideous. All of these are perturbations that have been sliced off like sushi, like really fine sushi, and laid out so you can see the plate, so you can understand your environment. And so it gives you vision, but it limits your vision from the, it limits your vision from the dopamine. It puts a dopamine limiter on your retinas, right? The inside sockets. Let me pull my eye out. Just kidding. It uses the rods and cones to give you, here's what's amazing about it. Your eyes don't see. They fucking broadcast. It's the weirdest thing. It's so weird. But it's only weird if you're not looking at it from the perturbation of the third eye. That's the only reason why it's weird. Your eyes are broadcasting dopamine. They're pouring dopamine into a spatial canvas that you call sight. And that dopamine is, oh, here's some good things. Oh, here's a woman in a bikini. That's a wonderful perturbation. I will head towards that direction. Here's a pile of camel poop in this direction. And you have a different dopamine signature to the pile of camel poop and the pretty lady in the bikini. Or man, whatever. Your eyes aren't seeing, they are seeing. Do you understand? They are seers. They are creating what you need to understand your perturbation. Now, your perturbation is always telling the truth, but it would blow out your governor if you could see it at all times. It would blow out your system. It would short out your system. It's no different than if your house, was suddenly to flow 440 volts of electricity. It's actually different. It's more like amperage, I think. If you got a 20 amp circuit and you're going to pour 40 amps down it, it's going to blow the circuit. You want it to blow the circuit. You want that circuit breaker to click. You want that to happen. Because if you don't, your entire line is going to get burned. It's going to start a fire. You're going to burn out your system. And you're going to have to replace all those wires. And if you've ever called an eye electrician, those fuckers are expensive, man. The optic nerve, I don't even know a guy who's qualified to do it. That's some expensive stuff. You don't want to burn that out. That's why you got this, man. That's why you got the perturbation. Now, the corona is the sun. And the sun has lost its sunspots. Look it up. I'm not going to pull it up now. I'm not here to wipe your nose. I'm just kidding. I pulled it up yesterday. That's why I'm saying that. The sun is losing its spots. It's a clear sun now. That's the apocalypse. The apocalypse is the uncovering, the perturbation. The fuckers that have been lying to you, hey Wiley, the fuckers that have been lying to you for so long knew this was coming. They knew when the sunspots were going away. They wanted to prepare for it. They didn't want you to go kill them all for being elites. But more importantly, they also wanted to shepherd you in roughly the right direction. I don't know why. I don't know if it's good or bad. I get the feeling it's more good, only because these people don't interact. We don't have a world where these people are like saving you, where they're always like, oh, let me rescue you again. Oh, a psychopath, here, I'll kill him for you. No, they're just like, yeah, it's a psychopath. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? When I was 7, my mom was the coach of my soccer team. Thanks for doing that, Mom. I was an awful soccer player, by the way, but I really loved the sport. And I caught the ball with my feet, and I started running towards the goal. And I couldn't believe it, but nobody was stopping me. I was just in this Pele mindset where I was just on fire. I was just running down the field, and it was like none of the opponents could touch me. It was like they didn't want to even mess with me because of how powerful my energetic field was. And my teammates were actually yelling at me the whole time, just like, hey, where are you going? They were so surprised by this show of power. And I took that ball into the goal, and I kicked it, and I scored my first goal. Boom. It was freaking badass. And I turned around to embrace the crowd watching me. And my mom was the coach the whole time, and she didn't stop me. I scored a goal on my own team. The only soccer goal I ever made that year was on my own team. I ran it the wrong way, and I shot it into my own goal. My mom didn't stop me because she freaking loves me. Because she's a good person. That's why she didn't stop me. And if I wanted to, I could be out there on the field whining, going, why didn't she stop me? Oh, it must be because I'm evil. Hey, since I'm evil, I'm going to go butt fuck that person, or I'm going to go screw that person. That's literally what's happening right now all around us. We feel denied by God when God's just coaching, man. He's just letting us play. He might be over there going, oh, boy, man, he really missed it. Wow, he really missed it. I love that kid. Cannot shoot a soccer ball. Has no concept of competition, but I love that kid. That's what you're doing here. That's what this is all about. It's so much better than you think it is. And it's because of that I think that the people that know what's coming, a lot of them are like a soccer coach. Some of them are actually being involved. I admit that. We've been over this yesterday. We spoke about how in the last apocalypse, maybe they tried to kill the psychopaths, but then none of us got refined enough. We ended up trusting bad stuff. We hadn't learned how to discern our trust yet. So we can't be sent to the next level, or whatever you want to call it, until we've refined ourselves, until we learn how to not only learn to trust the world. That's actually the easy part if you think about it. We're born into a trusting nature. That's why you're a baby. You're completely helpless. You're at the mercy of someone else. This is all the setup, guys. This is all part of the setup. It's like, let's put him in a situation where he has to trust everything around him to survive, and then let's slowly pull that fucking carpet out from under his feet and watch him bust his ass and see if he gets up. That's literally life, the universe, and everything right there. That's why you're addicted to being cared for so long. That's why all the dopamine and the serotonin told you it's okay. That's why you could crap your pants and someone will clean it up. You could pee on yourself and someone will clean it up, and they'd tell you they love you the whole time while they're doing it. They're setting you up for the fall. Good fall. The discerning fall. And if you look at what trauma really is, trauma that's stuck inside you, all it is oscillations that have been trapped inside your cockpit, your jet fighter cockpit. When you had your epiphany experience and you had to pop out of the cockpit for a while, someone placed a transistor radio tuned to a bad wrestling match, and they threw it inside the cockpit, but they shoved it under the seat where you couldn't hear it. And the whole time when you get back in the cockpit, you're hearing this wrestling match, and you swear it's the radio. Tower, did you just tell me that Hulk Hogan was coming? It's like, no, I didn't say that. What are you talking about? And then you start to feel insane. You start to feel crazy. You just can't put it together yet. It's okay, though. That's why we're here. We're here to break shit. We're here to fall. We're here to crash our jet. We're here to let it get occupied by demons. All of that. This is all part of why we're here. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. You can score goals on your own team. That's what evil is. Evil, inversion, all that stuff, it's just scoring a goal on your own team. You're just like, oh, man, why do you do that? And we take the game so seriously that we want to murder that person. In fact, we have to murder them sometimes to save our own life. That's how serious we get this game. That's how bad it can get sometimes, but in a good way. Because the worse it gets, the more you're agitated to move, the more you're finally going to give up and try something new. Whatever it is, just try something new. Any kind of animal that's interacted in any kind of trauma is going to have a base kind of response that they do, and then they're going to escalate. They're going to escalate when they've been pushed too far. An animal that knows it's too small to ever fight the predator that has it cornered will reach a certain point where they're just like, oh, I'm going for it. It's that kind of thing. And we need that trauma to make us go for it. Why? Because we don't like trauma and we don't like discomfort, and we will stay there as long as we can. The entire ship will be burning, and we will keep our thumb in our mouth and just sit there going, no, this isn't happening. It was 19 box cutters. It was 19 box cutters. It was a magic turning bullet. It was Hitler. It was the Archduke Ferdinand. It was the Mason-Dixon line. There was not a more obvious Masons being a bunch of dicks. This whole myth of the Mason-Dixon line. Come on, guys. Ballerina Bear, thanks for the $2. I appreciate it. There's a kiss. I don't know if that's okay to do. It's a new thing. We'll see how that plays out. So, if you're going to do hallucinogenics, realize it's a death. And realize that the epiphany you're getting is not coming from a plant. It's not coming from a mushroom. It's not coming from LSD. And it's not coming from I'm trying to think of like a cool drug dealer name. It's not coming from that dude. It's all in here. It's in the very center. Your king's chamber. The king's chamber of your head. That's where it's coming from. Milk, honey. Wait. Honey, milk. I think it's milk, honey. I think the one is lower than the other. So the queen's chamber would be the honey. No, that would be milk. See, it shows you how much I don't know. It's all this is new. This is the apocalypse. That's what makes it so great. It's a wonderful apocalypse. Now, things are getting bad. I tried to go to a grocery store yesterday. Turns out dog food is now a luxury. A luxury item is dry dog food now. Pretty upset by that. Pretty upset at all the plexiglass going up. Everywhere I've gone in my small town, there's now plexiglass separating me from the person I'm doing business with. That's not good. That plexiglass is an energetic field that's stopping things from happening. It's stopping my perturbations and your perturbations from talking to each other. When you wear a mask, you are stopping your telepathic empathy between the two. Now, remember how I told you the assemblage point is when you take yourself and place it back here and look? You're going to freak when you find this out. Empathy, which is actually telepathy. They actually took empathy and changed it to telepathy so you'd think it was up here. Empathy is your ability to plasmically link up to another adrenal system and tune in to their body. You're able to tune in to what it is that they are feeling. That's empathy. Some of you guys call yourselves or others empaths. I don't like that term because it makes you think that there are some people that have empathic abilities and other people that don't. An empath is someone who's able to move their assemblage point from their adrenals to the other person's. And the way to get there is actually not to leave your body, believe it or not. The way to get there is to sink yourself into your own adrenals. Because when you sink in there to your own adrenals, keep in mind, your adrenals are a function of the perturbation. That's all it is. It's a function of this guy. So when you tune into your adrenals, what you're really doing is you're playing peekaboo with your third eye and you're looking out the window of your perturbation through a certain focal point, your adrenals. Now your adrenals, keep in mind, your gonads are way down here. They're not up here. They're way down here, and they're connected to your endocrine system. Your entire body is an antenna, an adrenal antenna. The reason why you're tall is because you need distance in your antenna. You can't have a antenna that's bundled up into a ball. It's not going to work. You have to stretch the antenna out. That's why your gonads are down here. It's all part of this polyvagal system. There's a nerve that wraps around your lungs, your heart, your kidneys, all your organs, and it squeezes. Oh, I'm scared, and then it lets go. Oh, I feel so good. Squeezes and lets go. That's your reptilian squeeze. In fact, I would like to invite you all to join me in squeezing my sphincter. I don't want you to squeeze my sphincter. I would like for you to squeeze your own sphincter. Mine's squeezed now. My sphincter is squeezed. And now I'm going to let it go. Man, that felt good. I'm going to do it again. My sphincter is squeezed right now. The gritting the teeth is actually just, I'm not doing it on purpose. It just comes naturally. And now I'm going to let it go. Wow. And I'm really trying to let it go. Really trying to let go of that sphincter. Who would have thought that you'd be watching a live stream of a man squeezing and releasing his sphincter, right? And not only that, but I'm getting a $10 super chat for it. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. It's all about the sphincter. That sphincter is your grip on your polyvagal nerve, this nerve that wraps around everything. When you hit a cold, if you jump into a cold pool of water in the winter, your polyvagal system shrinks up and it cuts off all circulation to your extremities. It's called shock, right? It's body shock. You are now compartmentalized. You've gone into the center of your being and you've stopped all blood flow because you're afraid it's going to get too cold. You're freaking out. You're just like, oh shit, I don't want that. That feeling is with you 24/7. You have it right now. All of us do. The apocalypse is a letting go of the sphincter. It's the letting go of the electrical dilation of your sphincter, of your adrenal sphincter. I don't have the term for this yet, but I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It's your dilation is opening. And because it's opening, just like light can come into your eyes by opening them, information can come into your eyes if the serotonin, if the dopamine allows it. If the dopamine is comfortable. It's more like if your rods and cones are comfortable. Holy shit, there's an alien flying around. That kind of thing. There's an airship. There's a demon eating French fries. What the fuck? When you see a schizophrenic patient, when you see a meth head, when you see someone whacked out on ayahuasca, they are all seeing the same reality. The epiphany, whatever it is that's inside them, has allowed them to relax enough to where they can just see. They can see more. And when you see more, what does society that doesn't want you to see more do when you see more? They're going to fill you with Thorazine and put you in a building, and no one else can come visit you. This is the apocalypse. It's the greatest apocalypse ever. And these truths are so self-evident. This is not book smarts. This is guttural divination. And we've been meaning to gutturally divinate our entire lives. Most of us do. I once came home from high school. God, I love my mom. I once came home from high school, and this dude named Richard drove this Monte Carlo, and he pulled up in the driveway. It was one of the few days my mom was home because she worked a lot, and she was at the kitchen window, and Richard pulled up in the driveway. Richard was a clean-cut guy. He kind of looked like a male model almost. He was like, always wore a crisp white shirt. Back when I was younger, we wore seashell necklace. Everyone wore that, and that was like the thing that you wore. Anyway, getting off track. Richard pulls up in the driveway. I get out of the passenger seat. I walk inside the house. I've come home with lots of different, people give me rides all the time. Richard was probably more of a clean-cut guy. I walked in the house. My mom looked at me with the straightest face and said, "I don't want you ever, ever, ever to see that guy again." And of course, I'm like, "What's up?" And she's like, Don't. This is serious. Don't ever hang out with that guy again." And if you guys have seen me on Twitter, you know what a dickhole I can be. You know that I can spout off the greatest obelisk of dickheadedness for days. I am a fountainhead of dickheadedness. And she fucking hit me with this EMF signal of just, whoa. It came from a guttural place in her. It had zero to do with reason. It had zero to do with anything else. It was pure, raw divination. Apocalypse. My mom unzipped the apocalypse in the future, peered through, and said, "Holy fuck, my son cannot hang out with this guy anymore." And you guys have these truths too. Hey, Butter. You guys have these things happen too. You see these truths sometimes and you just know it. You feel so sure of it. You just know it. And sometimes you're talked out of it because you don't have the facts. You don't have the statistics. You don't have whatever the fuck else it is they claim you need. But you know it. What if I was to tell you, we're supposed to be doing that all the time? We're supposed to be using that gut all the time. Greatest apocalypse ever. Happy to do it with you. Me too, Joe. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, 6 cents, V. 6 cents. This is, it's actually, I don't want to sound argumentative because I think you're right on, but hear me out. It's actually a first sense. Do you understand? It's actually your first sense. Because this thing is perturbating. Keep in mind, perturbating means it's affected by every other body in the world. So it's a subtle needle. It's a subtle diamond needle that's just listening. It's listening to everything. And my mom had a perturbation when Richard showed up, like, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. And she acted on that. And what I think happened is she had such a resounding truth that it resonated through her bones. And those bones made my bones vibrate. And that's how I felt the truth. See, you feel, the reason why you have bones, people are like, oh, you have bones so you can stand up. Fine, but no, you could have a system of air bladders and still stand up. You have bones because you need a tuning fork. You are a bone tuning fork. And that tuning fork resonates truth. See, the truth's been coming out the whole time, guys. Expressions like, oh, he felt it in his bones. They're telling you, your body's telling you the truth all the fucking time. But most of us are just like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No. Your body's like, hey, don't stick that needle in me. And you're like, you don't fucking know what you're talking about. It's flu season. What, are you kidding? It's like, yeah, I don't think you should stick that needle in me. And you're just like, you have no clue what you're doing. I trust me, this is the best. Your body knows. Why? It's not because it's divining wisdom. It's actually not. I swear it's not. It's not like secretly tapped in or, hey, a woodpecker. It's not like it's secretly like finding secrets and divining them through some scrying ritual where John D has to have sex or gives his wife away so Edward Kelly can have sex with her so they can. No. It's all about the perturbation. Your third eye knows everything because it's nothing but a perturbation of the environment around it. Your regular eyes are broadcasting sight. Your third eye is listening. It's listening to the frequency around you. And when it hits a frequency that's correct, because of where it's located in your head, it vibrates, causes the parabola. What is your skull? It's a parabola dish. Where's the parabola dish aiming all? This is such a cool insight. I'm going to call this gravy. It's an Owen Benjamin term, but I'm going to call this gravy. This is a parabola dish. And this perturbation, it bounces off your parabola dish and it's focused down into what? Your spine. It hits the top of your spine like a tuning fork. A spine tuning fork. A spinal tap. Boom. And what's connected to your spine? But all your ribs, your shoulder blades, your arms, your hips, your pelvis, your coccyx. It's vibrating that truth. It's vibrating the perturbation going, you have found the truth. You have found the truth. That's why when you're having sex with a good woman, you feel it in your bones because you found the truth. You found it. You did awesome. Your butthole. Maybe Rocky. Wait, why is that? What's wrong with saying butthole? See, YouTube's like, oh, you can't say butthole. What's wrong with butthole? Here, let's squeeze. Cinch that sphincter. Close it up. And let go. Because if you let go, you'll feel, oh, man, it feels so much better. Did you know that if you want to lie on a lie detector test, you're supposed to go in squeezing your sphincter? The reason why is because your polyvagal nerve is constantly giving you away. This is a true FBI technique, by the way. I know this. It's in my next book if I would ever finish it. It's so close to being finished, but it's not yet there because this COVID-19 stuff broke out, and I sort of had to put the book on hold. The book is actually written. It's just we're almost done editing it. I actually have an editor helping me out there. Lindsay, if you're watching, thanks for being my editor. This polyvagal nerve is because it's squeezing or relaxing all of your organs. See someone, it's Kelly, I don't mind you saying butthole. I'm gonna hit show. There's nothing wrong with that. Buttholes are great. Nothing wrong with that. It's when you're Joe Rogan it. That's when it's bad. It's when you're literally, what is butt sex? What is sodomy but reversing your polarity? It's saying, hey, let's take the import and shove it in the export. Let's start doing that. Let's start cramming food up our butthole. That's what sodomy is. People are like, oh, you're anti-gay. No, look up sodomy. Sodomy doesn't mean two men. It doesn't mean that. The reason why sodomy causes inversion is because you're literally inverting. You're taking your entire electrical system and you're showing another body, hey, let's invert this shit. And the other person's like, okay, that sounds good. That's why we spend an entire month celebrating sodomy. And we're like, no, it's not sodomy, it's compassion. It's like, no, we're celebrating sodomy. How dare you, James? How dare you suggest that gay people all have something in common that's called sodomy? How dare you? If it's not that, then what is it? Seriously, what is it if it's not that? And there's nothing even wrong with inversion. There's actually not. You can get to enlightenment through pain or through pleasure. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because the trauma you're going to experience is going to flip you out. You're eventually going to have to flip out. You're going to have to find some epiphany in your life. You're going to have some trauma happen. You're going to have to find some epiphany. I think you could probably reach that through massive sex, like really good sex. Anyway, there's a million roads to the Golden Palace. There's a million roads to the land of milk and honey. And each of us are here to learn that road and figure out our own vista. Find our own way there. Experience our own apocalypse. Now, let's pretend like we're all Jewish right now. Actually, I'm sorry, let me take that back. Let's pretend like we're all, Ouroboros. I think I still can't pronounce that word. Ouroboros. Yeah. Let's pretend like that we're all Kabbalists right now. And we think that the world is going to end in 220 years. Why? Because there's a 6,000 year cycle. And at the end of that 6,000 years, because of the corona is at its apex and there's an apocalypse, some really bad people want to hoard knowledge. And so they will release maybe not even be really bad people. A deluge is somehow triggered. How about that? In 220 years, a deluge is triggered through something that we don't know yet. I don't know if it's bad guys. It could just be a natural cycle. I don't know. The point is that everything's going to be lost. We're going to lose all this information. And some of us are going to save that information. We're going to put it in an ark because we know it's coming. We're going to take that information, we're going to put it in an ark, and we're going to save it. And when the deluge is cleared, only some of us are going to have that knowledge. And the people that have that knowledge are going to be able to use it to their advantage for the next 6,000 years. It's just going to keep going. I have nothing wrong with butts, Arizona. I actually like pelvises and wrists. If you're talking about like sexual attraction, I'm most attracted to a pelvis and for some reason to wrists. I find wrists just, oh God, they're so feminine. It's amazing. You tell a lot about a woman by looking at her wrists, man. Also, their collarbones are pretty freaking sweet. Getting way off track here. This apocalypse is of your body. Your body is the apocalypse. And the more you seed inside your jet, the quicker you evacuate all the demons from it and you regain your cockpit, the more all-seeing you're going to be. When you relax, see, if you clench your sphincter and relax it, you can actually start to work on how to relax it even more. And if that sphincter relaxes your entire polyvagal system, it just seems to me that it would be a way of relaxing your perturbation. Not even your perturbation, but more of the shell around it. Because the apocalypse is an uncovering. Now, back to the Kabbalist part, because here comes the Kabbalist part. Let's pretend like that we know that the world's going to survive for 6,000 years, and then it's reset time. So we got 220 years left. Imagine that's a zipper on the cleavage of truth, right? So if we only have 220 years left and there's 6,000, it's basically like zipping it all the way from here all the way down. Like all the way down. But not quite all the way. Really close, right? Really close, but not totally all the way. Hang on a second. I'm getting text. I need to turn this thing off. The reason why we see more, the reason why we understand more, is because we have unzipped most of this world. We only have 220 years left. So we've unzipped this world all the way down. It stopped right there. That's why we're able to see so much. That's why so many of us understand about Building 7. You see, we're able to see the truth more. The apocalypse is the uncovering, it's the unzipping. And as we end the apocalypse, more and more people are waking up. And by waking up, what's really happening is that you're gaining compassion for everyone around you. And this is something that really makes me uncomfortable. There are certain people that I do not want to feel compassion for right now. I do not want to feel compassion for them. I would rather not. And every day I realize the apocalypse is telling me, but James, you have to. If you want to see the world, if you want me to take this off, you're going to have to go full compassion. It's a trade-off. And it makes me uncomfortable. It makes us all uncomfortable, which is why we don't see things like Building 7. We don't see things like magic turning bullets. And in my opinion, that's why these Masons are sort of pushing us out of the nest by giving away really obvious clues. Have you guys seen the 2012 Olympics? I should have pulled this up. There's a 2012 Olympics ceremony. It's a freaking coronavirus. The entire stadium is a giant blue coronavirus. And that coronavirus has inside of their ceremony hundreds of thousands of beds laid out, like sick patients. That was the 2012 Olympics. By the way, the exact same year that I Pet Goat 2 came out. Remember yesterday, if you remember, I talked about I Pet Goat 2? That in both those years, they're like, hey, here's what's happening. Here's what's happening. Here's what's happening. And that's them going, it's time to leave the nest. If you don't leave the nest, I'm going to push you out. I know I'm your mom, but I need you to learn how to fly. I need you to do it. I'm showing you a giant ceremony, the biggest ceremony in the world, showing you that what we're getting ready to do. And over half of you are going to be freaking out, going, oh my God, it's a virus, we're going to die. Get out of traffic, motherfucker. Don't you fucking leave your house, you piece of shit. It's like, you keep scoring on your own goal. We just keep running the ball into our own goal. And when I get mad at people right now, I have to remember that I've done that too. That I've run the ball into my own court and I've scored that goal. And God was so cool, he didn't stop the game. Do you know how shitty it would be if my mom would have stopped the game? It would have ruined my entire life. It would have ruined the whole thing. It's so beautiful that God is silence. It's so beautiful. How can you corrupt the words of God if they're silent? You can't corrupt silence, can you? It's impossible. You can misinterpret it. You could say, oh, it means he doesn't love me. But that's actually part of our journey. We have to learn what love is. We have to understand that the language of God is incorruptible, which is why the language of God is the language of listening. It probably sounds like a greeting card right now, but it would be a good one. The language of God is listening. The voice of God, therefore, would be all of us having the ability to speak and not saying anything at the same time. A grand silence with intent. A listening. The voice of God is all of us listening at the same time. And really, that's really what the apocalypse is. That's really what we're heading for right now in this apocalypse. Bridge Burner, just found your channel after Stream with Owen. Pretty cool. I've now watched many of your videos. I'm starting to gain a whole new perspective and comprehension. Thank you for doing what you do. It is not me. What you are experiencing is the corona. What you're experiencing is the apocalypse. I just happen to be in the perfect spot to tell you guys about it. That's really what's happened. And all around me, people are seeing things. In fact, people have seen things all around me that I haven't seen before because I wasn't ready, and I'm still not ready. I am actively decoding in real time in front of you right now. None of this is rehearsed. You guys can probably tell that, but my point is that I hold nothing that you guys don't hold. All I'm done is learn how to relax my sphincter. I've just learned how to relax that enough to where it's okay. I've learned how to realize that mistakes are so crucial, that us messing up is just so crucial. And as the more I relax, the more I'm going to see things. There's a person in chat right now named Amanda B. And she has been embarrassed about the things that she's seen. I'm probably really breaking her trust right now. But she's been embarrassed about that because she realizes that people around her are not seeing the same things. And she's nervous about telling it. She's seeing airships right now that you guys haven't seen yet. She's seeing them in the clouds. What I think she's seeing are what we call demons. But hear me out. We call them demons because we don't have the compassion yet to process them. By calling them demons, what happens is you're restricting your dopamine to any time you see a demon. And that makes it invisible. It's invisible to you because it's too uncomfortable for you to see. So you call it something demon. Oh, it's a demon. Oh, I don't want to. It's demons. That gives you that uncomfortable feeling, and so you don't have to see it anymore. It's the reason why people can't see Building 7. That's their demon. The demon is that government's evil, so they can't see it. Ladies and gentlemen, none of us die. When you let go of your epiphany, you west. You are westing. You set. Think about it. Set. The underworld. Set. Boom! Just hit me. Isn't that cool? Set. The sun. We set. Holy shit. Someone give me an amen. That's awesome. We set when we die. We go to set. And set's like, dude, welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the underworld. It's about time you're here. Welcome to you. In that setting, we're still alive, but we're westing. Everything that you see around you that you think is a demon is an ancestor that's been abandoned. And the harder they've been abandoned, the more hideous the demon is. Ugh, how dare you? Why have you forsaken me? And what would the archetype be for someone who felt forsaken? Imagine, where would you put yourself? If you wanted to, okay, pretend like you're a playwright, okay, and you're writing a scene, and you want a scene that says forsaken. How would you put them in the scene? What would you decorate the scene like? I'm going to tell you. Some people are like, don't ask questions if you're going to tell me. Oh, I'm going to tell you. You'd put them in a pit. You'd set the scene in a pit, and you'd put someone at the bottom. They've been forsaken. Where are demons? They're cast to the pit. They're cast there. When we set, many of us go to the pit. Most of us go to the pit. Why? Because in our life, we weren't listening to our perturbations. We listened to someone else tell us, I need to cut the end of your dick off. And then that hurts. But then something worse happens. We do that to our child. Or we take a vaccine. Or we have an abortion. Or we kill a man. Or we follow a policy. Or we lose ourselves to a procedure. Or we enter into a contract in Hollywood where we've sold our name and gone to the casting couch. Or we had sex with the wrong person. Or we ran over a dog. All these things cast us into a pit. When we set, we decide where we're going. We decide what we're worthy of and what we're not worthy of. And the most honest person you're ever going to find, I'm talking about true honesty with themselves, is you. You are the ultimate judge of your own character. And when you go to set, when you go to westing, you enter the river Styx and you flow back and you come to a ceremony, the weighing of the heart. And if you understand that evil is an evacuation, you see exactly what the weighing of the heart ceremony is. How much gold is in this heart? How much lead is in this heart? And it's you. You weigh your own heart. You're the one that tells Set. Set doesn't tell you. You tell Set. I'm not ready. I need to feel abandoned for a while. I need to be cast into the pit. And that's why if you listen to my interview with Dr. Marzinski, or read his new book, which is out, by the way, the guy interviewed hundreds and hundreds of prison patients. And they all said the same thing. Demons come from the pit. And if you read what he told you, he tells you all these electrical experiences that he had with demons. Why? Because we are electrical beings living in an electrical world. And when you take ayahuasca, you're dumping your electrical core. That's all. Self-induced epiphany. When you West, you have an epiphany. And you process that. You do something with it. The weighing of the heart weighs your evacuation. I would imagine that most of us have been in the pit for a long time. I just get the feeling that's probably how it works. And I'm sorry I can't raise the volume. I hear that, Kelly. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to do that. I'm so confused. It throws me off whenever I hear the volumes because it's full on. I'm so sorry. I'll see what I can do. The problem, Winslow Dashington, that's a cool name, is that if you tell Set you're golden and you're not, you're going to be exposed to the corona and you're going to melt. And you know that. That's what's beautiful. You actually know that. You're the one who's actually entered the dojo. It's not like you were thrown in the dojo. It's that you entered and you really want a black belt and you're willing to work for it. You want it. You want to earn it. You want to have all those skills with you for whatever's next. I don't know what's next. I don't even know if there is a next. Next implies a lot of shit. If you think about a timeline, remember that zipper, Truth is Zipper? That's like a timeline if you think about it. As you go through time, what are you doing? You're unzipping time. Why? Because the past has been decoded, motherfuckers. It's been decoded. You know that because you know what happened in the past. It's been unzipped. The zip file's been opened, but it's not done opening yet. You know, when you download a zip and you decompress it, it's like 11%, 12%, 13%. We're about right here. It's like 82% decompressed or 90. It's more like probably 90. Shit, it's actually a lot more than that, isn't it? It's like, man, I'm really curious about that. That's probably a pretty good number, right? Let's see. 6,000. How would that be? That would be 220 years. Okay, the Hebrew calendar, that's why I'm getting the 220, guys, if you're wondering why I'm getting that. So according to the Hebrew calendar, there's 220 years left until we're 6,000 years old. So 220 over 6,000 is what over 100. So 22000 divided by 6,000. Is that right? Oh, shit, that's not right. It says 3.6. 220 divided by, if someone tells me in chat, I would be glad to hear it. Damn, now it says 36. So it's like really high up there. I can't do math right now. Isn't that funny? It's like really, really high up there. We're like 94% decompressed, right? Whatever the percentage is of 220 over 6,000. That's what we are decompressed right now. I'm really screwing that up, sorry. That means most of the past is uncompressed. Most of it's already uncompressed. In fact, not only is it uncompressed, but there's so much of it that we don't even know the past. So many of us don't even know the past. It's been hidden over with dissonance and all kinds of crap like that. We don't fully even understand what it is. But there's only a little bit more of the future. There's just a little bit more left. And we're still trying to decompress that. Just a little bit. And that's what's left of the apocalypse. It's the final countdown. That thing. It's the final countdown, man. Thank you, Candor. Yeah, man, Candor, you're always there for me. It's 96.33%. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We are at 96.33% apocalypse. In fact, we should change our calendars. We should change our calendars and go around. When someone goes, hey, what time is it? It's 96.33%. I'm like, what? Well, that's apocalypse time. It's 96.33%. That's how much cleavage we're seeing. The corona cleavage is open, baby. Now, running out of time, I really have to get some things out. I really want to get some truths out. The reason why Pet Goat showed you Notre Dame. Remember that final scene in Notre Dame where you're seeing, it took me a while to figure this out. Let's see if I can find it for you. The reason why this final scene has, remember the old lady with the hanging boobs and she has her period basically? Let me see. And get it to the right place for you guys. Yeah, man. Let's see what, I don't think we got shut down last time. So let me see if I can share this with you guys. Boop. Boop. Okay. Someone said it was too loud, so I'm going to turn it down. That's a vagina. Okay. I don't think we've... Where's the lady? Okay, I was too early. Sorry. Too late, I mean. Where's the... Hang on a second. Bear with me. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, this chick... Okay, look. God's still asleep. He's perturbating. Look at this. There's a penis coming out of a pants, right? It's got a lighthouse in the penis. Here's actually a hand reaching down from above. That's a whole new thing I hadn't even noticed before. But watch what's trapped inside. In fact, God pointed to the penis. The crone is inside. This is Notre Dame. Immaculate conception, guys. Apocalypse Now is an immaculate conception. What did the Notre Dame fire do? It burnt the roof, right? It crashed through the roof. By the way, here's Set. Going through the doors of dimension. Trial by fire. Look, pineal gland right there. Boom. Here's Set. And I think, sorry, I'm trying to figure out when the Notre Dame temple comes up. Remember, it's here to scare you, here to scare you, to get you to move, get you to wake up. Open your eyes, humankind. Finally. The Virgin and the Crone. Trapped in the obvious. Immaculate. He's inside Notre Dame right now. See the lights above? See that? He's coming out. He's had an immaculate conception. Remember Notre Dame, the roof burnt. The top of the roof burnt. It opened up. Guys, it broke the hymen. Your enlightenment. Your, what's the word? Your epiphany is a hymen. It's actually not a joke. Your epiphany is a hymen breaching. And these guys use these rituals because they want everyone to have it. They want everyone to have this same epiphany. And they can talk to you electrically. Electrically, they can talk to you. Through archetypes. And this is why the ISS. This is why the ISS is there. I want you guys to think about these words. ISS, International Space Station. ISIS, the goddess Isis. The terrorist organization, ISIS. The ISS is a fucking prana collector. It's a fucking antenna for plasma, for your belief. It's a plasma antenna for your belief. And every cycle, there has to be an ISIS. There has to be an ISIS collector. If you don't have that collector, all that ISIS energy is just dissipated. It's just tremoring. That's why it showed you the penis. That penis is an antenna. Boing. What's underneath the island of Paris? 200 miles of limestone filled with bones. What comes out of that island? The Eiffel Tower. Same with New York. This is the ISIS. And because of scientism, because of how long we've been there, we can't go around going, hey, is the goddess ISIS. We've been taught to not believe in God, but we still need to redirect the prana to Isis. So we believe in the ISS. We believe in the resurrection of a rocket ship. Osiris. What is Osiris but a resurrection, an erection? These are antenna. These are antenna for your belief. And I'm under the impression that in the first apocalypse, the second apocalypse, the third apocalypse, they kept getting this wrong. That they, as people got advanced, they tried to bring out the goddess Isis, and it just didn't work. They weren't pulling enough current. Why? Because the apocalypse is so far down that you have to have the antenna super the fuck high up. Not 250 miles. They want you to think it's 250 miles. That's why they lie about it. Can you see how easy this is? Someone give me an amen. It's so freaking easy once you understand this is all electrical. If you're chronically believing in the ISS at 250 miles, you're sending your ISIS, you're sending your belief for ISIS up into the sky. And you're sending your Osiris into Isis. You're sending it up there. That's why you have to believe in NASA. You don't have to believe, but that's why. They're trying to collect as many living dead as they can. They want this perturbation to work. They want this to happen. Guys, they had to burn down Notre Dame. They had to cut the hymen. Do you understand? They had to... I'm sorry, but it's true. They had to break the hymen. And the only way to do that is to make her a virgin for hundreds and hundreds of years. You had to build up the Parthenia. You couldn't break the hymen without the Parthenia. The moment they broke through that, all that energy just went and just gushed up. And all of our belief in scientism was resolved by it. Guys, this is why Trump had to slaughter the economy. This is some top-level stuff here. What I mean by it might be kind of hard to grasp, so I'm going to try. Hey, Wiley. This is why Trump had to slaughter the economy. What is the economy? The bull market. Mithras, the oldest legend in Rome, it's about slaughtering a bull. When you archetypally, see, this is the real world. The world of archetypes is an electrical circuit. And these people know how to tap into that electrical circuit. And they have to change how they tap into it to match the most amount of prana so it still comes in. So you go from slaughtering a real bull on the streets of Rome to slaughtering the market of the bull. You go from the red face of Caesar, who's the only one who's allowed to slaughter humans inside the city gates of Rome, and you turn it to Trump with an orange face. And all these deaths are happening around us with COVID-19. And it's a humanity virus. It's not even a fucking real thing. It's your exosomes. Your cells are literally excreting a phone call saying, help, help, help. And everyone around them saying, you must be the murderer because you called 911. If that's not a push out of the nest, nothing else is. There is no gold standard for COVID testing. All cells will emit exosomes if the body's attacked through an EMF. What is propaganda? Boom. It's an electromagnetic frequency. Lies are RF dissonance. You're an electrical being. A lie is nothing more than a fancy frequency. And it has exactly the right trajectory to bust through your trust. Your egoic trust is holes, giant holes in it. It's supposed to. When you're born, you have no holes. You trust anybody and everything. And as you grow, you learn to congeal. You learn to form this husk, this electrical husk of who you are. And these archetypes are here to help you. They're here to direct you. My favorite archetype growing up was a guy named Evel Knievel. The guy would jump over stuff. I would draw power from that archetype before I would make a jump in the strip pits. We used to launch ourselves down this really steep hill. And the only way I could do that was to channel the archetype of Evel Knievel. My electrical body was tapping into the antenna of Evel Knievel, who I held so high esteem that I'm able to use that archetype as an antenna to draw more electrical current. You see how this works? It's so simple. You're drawing more current from the environment around you so you can broadcast and you can drive down that jump. Or you can score a goal on your own team. Or you can nail that three-pointer shot. Or you can hit that sweet, sweet spot. Everything we do is electrical. This apocalypse is electrical. Apocalypse. It's a sideways vagina. This is probably why I should quit streaming. Lips are a sideways vagina, though. Look into it. Did I cover everything? It's been 2 hours. Virgin birth, ISS, ISIS. Molech. Let's say that all the old stories of Molech are true in the old Bible, and that because there definitely were cults that were burning children, they were sacrificed. I mean, that's definitely true. There's a dispute over how much it was. But I want you to think about the reason why we have abortion is because there still has to be a sacrifice to Molech. What is Molech but the bull god? Think about it, guys. If you didn't make a sacrifice to Molech, how could you sacrifice that bull? How can you slaughter the bull of Mithras? How can you slaughter the market? How do you make that ceremony a ceremony versus homicide? All of what I'm getting at is that if you look at Planned Parenthood, the shape of the building, I don't even think that someone even necessarily knew that. I think the shape of that building would have happened anyway. If you guys know what I'm talking about, it's like a step pyramid, right? Planned Parenthood is. It's part of the human sacrifice that's been around forever. I think these are actually, okay, bear with me here. Just like you have epigenetic trauma in you from your great-great-great-great-grandfather, humanity has its own epigenetic trauma. These tremors that last through the apocalypse. And I would imagine that these tremors get so out of whack that these grand wizards need archetypes to help us steer back, to help us find our way home, to help us have the best apocalypse ever. We're not killing each other right now. Some of us are trying. Some of us want to rape you with a needle. That is a necessary function of the apocalypse right now. They want you to have so much compassion that you can even look at someone who wants to rape you with a fucking needle and still have compassion. Doesn't mean you agree, doesn't mean you consent. See how subtle that is? I do not consent, I do not agree, but I have compassion for you. That's some subtle ass energy. I mean, that's an electrical field that's really hard to even explain. You would need an entire 5-dimensional universe to have that sort of electrical field. And that's what we have all around us right now. You guys are beautiful. This is the most bestest, awesomest apocalypse ever. I don't know if you should cremate yourself or not. I think that we've been shaming our bones. Personally, I think the reason why they paint migration as sexy is so you'll constantly pull your roots up and not know what it's like. I can go out to my garden, if I had a garden. I wish I had a garden. I could go out to my garden and pull up a crop and move it 12 feet to the right. And I could do that every week. And if you weren't really paying attention, you would think that plant was fine. And I think that's what migration is about. That's why there's Ellis Island, guys. The X's and the O's. Ellis Island is the modern Exodus. Part of the apocalypse is being fucked over by people. That's part of what requires an apocalypse. You need some pain to make you wake up. To get that pain, you need some really, really bad motherfuckers that want to do shit to you. They want to rape your children. They want to stick you with needles. They want to migrate you all the time. They want to do nothing but keep you migrating, keep you moving, keep your roots up. That's why it's so hard to kill a man who's locked in the soil. And personally, I think your bones are beautiful. I don't think they should be crushed up and burned. I think they should rest in the soil, not in a box, but in the soil. I think if more of us buried our bones in the soil, the great chestnuts would come back, the giant trees, and the hemlocks would come back. This blight that we see that affects both those trees is abandonment. The blight that you see is them releasing exosomes, saying, help, help, help. And what do? We attack the aphids. We say, oh, it's the aphids that's causing this blight. We have to kill the aphids. Quick, everyone, get pesticide and spray this hemlock so these aphids don't show up. Meanwhile, the aphids are telling you, can you please help? Can you please bury your ancestors underneath me? They will make me grow so much better. Before we sign off, we have 220 years to make this place Zion again. It's always been Zion. It's right here. There's no usury involved. And every time one of you guys tells me I planted a garden, that's a fucking victory. Because you're putting your prana in the dirt. The soil feels you. The salt and the oil. You are committing alchemy in your garden. You are the living soil. You are the one that transmutes it. But we're too busy taking medical advice from people that don't even grow their own food. That's why famine is happening right now. It's making us grow food. Thank God. Thank God. This is the best apocalypse ever. And I'm so glad that I'm having it with you guys. It's a pure, pure joy. Even the plastic plexiglass bullshit they're putting up. Even the fact that I can't buy dog food. I'm so glad we're here together. If you want to do ayahuasca, if you want to do DMT, if you want to do mushrooms, fine. But realize all you're doing is taking your finger off the switch and starting an epiphany. And that costs a lot. That's no different than a woman who wants to lift a Buick to save her child. She's making a transaction with the world. Yeah, you can take the last 3 years of my life. I need to lift this car right now. The epiphany shows her how to do it. Let's make this the best apocalypse ever. Let's relax our sphincter. Let's relax it. And let's use that to set the pace of everyone around us. They'll see you relaxing. And you'll pace them. They'll become relaxed too. And if you do it just right, you'll see what Amanda sees. You'll start seeing airships. You'll see it all. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm actually going to do a stream in an hour, believe it or not. I'm actually going to call Dr. Andy Kaufman. We're going to have a talk. I'm assuming he's still up for it. He's had a long day, but I want to do an update just on COVID. So hope you guys don't mind me streaming more than once during the day. But it's Dr. Kaufman. Come on. Guy's awesome. Keep it apocalyptic. Yeah. And I want to end it right there. Thanks, guys.